What really happens after deportation? For some, deportation is about enforcing immigration laws, and others, it is the beginning of starting over with nothing. And the stories in today's video reveals a side of this debate that most people don't really know and never see. Because once you hear what happens after deportation, the conversation gets more complicated. Watch these clips and then I'll come back with more comments.
When's the last time you were in Mexico?
When I was 5 years old. That was 23 years ago. So I don't really remember. I don't really know the streets. I mean, I get lost when people try to explain directions. I don't understand. I look at them like what? You know, can I just show you my phone and you point where it's at, or is this how I go? And so it's definitely a struggle and definitely a new environment, but I'll adapt. You know, I'll survive. It's definitely, even though everything is compact and like close to each other, everything is so far away. Like, yeah, you're close to wherever your little, town is, a little pueblo, but like everything else is like super far. Like the center of Monterrey, it's super far if you're on a bus. Center of, anywhere else it's far. But when you have a car, it's like 20 minutes. I look at Google Maps and I'm like, oh man, that's 20 minutes away. But that's, with your own car. And when I put the public transportation, it's like 3 hours. I'm like, oh.
Depth, CBS's Adam Yamaguchi reports on what happens once they arrive on the other side of the border.
Just 3 miles across the border from San Diego, deportees in Tijuana are starting a new life. Among them is Juan Carlos. Just 1 month ago, he stopped at an LA area Home Depot on his way to his construction job.
As soon as I saw them, I tried to run. I ran.
Oh my God!
His arrest was captured on cell phone video.
Oh, this is so sad!
This is just me. This is the federal, the ICE.
Los Angeles gave me many things. It gave me opportunities. It gave me another kind of life.
Juan Carlos lived in the U.S. for 19 years.
We've met so many people who've been snatched up off the streets across the country, disappear into the void, and then they reappear in a country that they don't know anything about.
The Mexican government set up shelters, preparing for a massive wave of deportees. This one used to be an event space.
What is the capacity here? And are these shelters here filling up?
There's been 100 people that have been inside of the shelter, but the capacity of the shelter is around like 3,000 people.
Priscilla Rivas helps the newly deported figure out where they're going to live and work and how to contact their loved ones. But she says there's a lack of resources for many.
There's flights going to Tapachula, to the southern border of Mexico. So, I mean, what happens to the folks that are being deported to other places?
Even as ICE agents get more aggressive with their tactics, the mass deportations Trump promised haven't materialized. Ulisser is a Cuban immigrant, one the Trump administration might consider the worst of the worst. At 15, he shot someone to death and spent the next 19 years in a U.S. prison.
Americans will look at you and say, you're the bad one that we should be deporting.
Right. When I was in prison, I did a lot of reflection, and I felt remorse and guilt because part of that decision they're making of going after immigrants is because people like myself, when I was making bad choices, they use that excuse just to target the folks that are actually working and trying to have a better life.
So people are looking at you and the choices you made and saying, well, they're all bad then.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
He says he chose to self-deport. Others told us they would like to come back to the U.S., but with tight restrictions, they worry the only way across the border would be illegal and costly. Adam Yamaguchi, CBS News, Tijuana, Mexico.
Country. I'm here almost 30 years. I'm working always. I pay the taxes. I pay my bills at a time. I take care of my kids. I never don't want to marry just to not hurt them, I'm living for them. I give my heart for my kids. I don't know how I'm gonna stand without my kids. I don't know how I'm gonna go there, what I'm gonna do there. I don't have where to go there. I don't have house there. My life is here. This is my country. I love this country.
She's been here longer than she's been overseas.
She came here when she was 19. I mean, how do you expect
I'll
somebody
be
to come
19
back?
years old when I come here. That's how I meet my husband. I never doesn't meet him before.
Yeah, we have.
I still don't want to believe. I cannot even prepare. It's just that's how I am out. It's just
you know, that last like grip of hope. You like maybe something might come. You know, you hope.
It's just we really don't know what to do anymore. It's just.
And I really, you know, I don't know if they even read it, to be honest. But like I said, she went over there. They said, we're not going to give you an answer yet. Meet us at the airport on the 9th, the day she has to leave. So,
we're gonna give
we'll give you the answer there.
So that's kind of, I couldn't believe it when they told her that. It's so pick your stuff, go on the airport, and we're going to give you an answer there. It's kind of, doesn't make no sense.
Because this is it. The only letters that we sent to them and everything, but, you know.
I don't understand how you could read letters from people, like family members and, you know, customers. Like, I don't get how you can read letters like this and, like, not sit back and be like, wow. You know, it's not like she's been here 2 years, 10 years. She's been here almost 30 years. She has customers who wrote, you know, reference letters and everything in her character. And it's, you know, it's insane to me how you could be like, yeah, we'll let you know at the airport. So it's one thing she wanted for her sons, and she's done everything. You know, I mean to the T. So it's just, it sucks and it hurts. You know, like the way they portray, like, you know, illegal immigrants as criminals, thieves, whatever the case is. Like she's literally a number. You know, like, you know, it sucks. I don't know, dude.
I was deported to Mexico for crimes that I was never convicted of. Once deported, all the charges against me were dropped. So now I am currently in Mexico rebuilding my life after 24 years in the States.
I don't think you should start your first TikTok by talking about your deportation.
You told me to be honest, so
that's
transparency.
True. That's true.
So,
well, if you're going to talk about your deportation and what happened, then I guess we have to make it interesting. Because, you know, my half of the story has a lot to do with what you went through.
All right, well, let's give the people what they want.
Yeah, but I think that first, you should focus on talking about how your life has changed ever since moving to Mexico. So do that first, so people can get to know you before you drop the bomb that everybody wants to know.
All right, well, welcome to my side of the story.
Hi everyone, my name is Alva. I live in Ciudad Juarez. I was a little bit hesitant on doing any of this TikTok thing because I don't know, I just didn't think that it was worth it. My story was worth it, but as seeing so many stories like it now, I'm like, somebody needs to hear what I have to say. Somebody needs to know that there's hope. 15 years ago, I came to Mexico, to Ciudad Juarez, with hopes of getting my papers, as you can see right here. There they are. I found them way deep down in a box. When I would see these, I would cry, but I don't cry anymore. I'm actually in a really good place. There's life after deportation. There's life after getting denied for your paperwork. I wasn't deported, but I was denied. Well, the immigration guy said that I wasn't denied. I just needed to get this fixed. Basically, I needed to change my last names. As you can see, Villaluna was my biological name, but then I was adopted in the U.S. and it was changed. So it's a long story short. Basically, they told me no because I had too many aliases. I was raised in the States for 15 years. My life there was basically everything. I wanted the American dream. I had a job there. I was a good citizen. I went to school. I graduated. Everything. I did it to the T. Never got in trouble because I wanted this. I really wanted to be an American citizen. I wanted to one day say I live the American dream. But life happens. I come back to Mexico for this. I come back to try to fix my papers, to try to get my residency together. When I get there, the immigration guy tells me, due to my last names, I'm gonna have to change my last name to one name, which I said, okay. It seemed easy for me. I thought it was okay. I thought I could do it, you know. So my plans were to come to Mexico for 1 year. I packed up my bags. I said goodbye to my mother, which was really hard. And I came here with the hopes of one day going back. 15 years later, here I am. I wasn't able to fix it. Long story short, I wasn't able to fix it. I went through, the person that was asking for me, we went through a divorce. So it was just, I was basically torn from everything that I knew. As many as you know, as many as you've been through, it was culture shock. I'm not gonna lie, I cried for like 2 to 3 years, thinking our hope was lost. I honestly felt like I had no purpose. I felt like my life was ruined. I felt like what's more to do. And I ended up in Ciudad Juarez, and at that time, it was in 2008 when the violence was going on. So I honestly felt like I just didn't belong here. Like, what is going on? Why am I going through this? After that, after 2 years, I had my son. He's now 12. So it was a drastic change. Either I got myself situated, either it was literally go down the drain and bring my child with me, or it was go up and stay alive for someone, not only for him but for me. But through all of that, I can honestly say, it's gonna sound cliche, but I just don't really care. But I felt like it was God who kept me through that, who kept me through going crazy, because I honestly felt like every time I would see these, it was like, why am I even here? Why did I even make the mistake to come here if I had my life situated in the States? I had a house, I had everything, but coming to Mexico, it just humbled me. It was like I saw the difference of the American dream with the Mexican dream, and I honestly can say I'm living it now. And not only that, I'm living it through my family, through everything that's basically transformed my life. And I can honestly say that Mexican dream is possible here, and there's hope. And there's hope in whenever you get yourself together and you can say, I can't do this by myself. I need help. And it was literally God. It was literally a lot of healing for me, and it was thinking to myself, I had my own plans. I literally did. I had my life lived out in my head of how I was going to live in the U.S. And God had a total change of plans for me. And his word says, I know the plans that I have for you. And that's something that's stuck with me, and it's been sticking with me for 15 years. So anybody who's been deported, anybody who's was denied because of this, there's hope. There's the Mexican dream. There's everything here, and I'm living it. I love Mexico. I've been able to travel. It's just been a beautiful thing. So get out there, live life, and don't close yourself on the idea that there's hope here. Thank you, guys.
People think like, oh, why you get locked up? Why you get deported? For driving without a license. And to be honest, I was on my way to work and I was going fast, and then the police clocked me, and then I got pulled over, and then it started asking me about immigration and all that. I don't have his social or anything like that. And so he took me into custody, right? And once he took me into custody, I did like 5 days, and I was happy because I was about to get out. And then before I got out, he's like, hey, hold on. Go into this office, and I go in that office, and ICE is immigration.
So they released you into
ICE custody. But if I was, American, or if I had a social, I would have been, regular. Just 5 days, and I would have been out. But no, they put me in ICE custody, and then they just started asking me where I came in, and everything. And then, to be honest, my baby mama, my baby mama took me out of jail, $5,000, and then they took me out. And then after that, I was out, right, fighting my case. Then I signed a voluntary departure, which is for me to get out the country. They gave me a specific date, and I ended up staying like that. I didn't leave.
One stupid mistake cost me everything. I'm a tattoo artist here in Tijuana. Been here for 10 years. I got deported in 2015, and I served a 20-year sentence out of a 29 to life. At the time, I didn't realize what a waste of time of life, I just didn't care, but that was just how I lived in a gang culture. But now that I'm free and I've been living this life and I can look back, man, I can't even believe somebody would do that kind of lifestyle. It's a total waste, man. Total waste of life being a gang member or a criminal. Living a decent life and working for a living and having a good life and enjoying life, that's the beautiful thing about life. People can change. People can change the way they live. People can change their lifestyle, man. I'm a living proof, and you know what? Today I look at all that stuff and I can't stand it. And enjoy your life, man. God bless.
Hey, I know I've been gone for a while. I didn't plan to disappear, but the truth is, self-deporting has not been easy at all. Mexico is beautiful, yes, very beautiful. But starting over in a new country, grieving absolutely everything and everyone you left behind, feeling homesick, trying to build a new life from scratch, it's pretty heavy. It takes a toll, and it puts you in a kind of depression. The truth is, I got quiet because I was struggling, and I kind of still am. Not because I regret my choice. I don't regret moving to Mexico, but because even making the right choice can hurt. It can feel pretty sad. I fell a little bit into a kind of depression where it's hard to find the silver lining and the beauty in things, and that took over. Both Taquito and I have been feeling a bit of anger, a bit of resentment, a bit of loneliness, a bit of sadness about the fact that we had to make this move. We love Mexico. Mexico is beautiful, and we're happy to be here. We don't regret our choice, but that doesn't mean it doesn't feel heavy. During these last couple of weeks, I've been taking time to reconnect with myself, with my identity as a Mexican that spent their life in America, with my culture, with my voice. Who am I really? I'm still grappling with a lot, and there are days that feel pretty heavy. And there are also days where I do miss the life that I left. But I'm trying to stay grounded. I am finding joy and hope in the smallest of details. Some days that means going out to the beach and seeing the beautiful ocean. And some other days it means just sitting outside in the balcony, letting the sun hit my face and warm me up a little bit. Sometimes it just means staying in bed quietly, watching TV, trying not to let my mind think too much. All those little moments of joy with people, with myself, reconnecting with my identity, my culture, what kind of voice I have. It hasn't fixed everything, right? I'm not on the other end of this just yet. I'm on my way. And there is still a lot of joy to be found here in Mexico. I can't grieve the life that I left, but there is so much joy that I can find outside of that life. But it does take a little bit of a push to get through that. So I'm just trying to adjust, to breathe, to heal, really. I really appreciate your patience. I appreciate all of it. I'm not gone. I'm just finding my way again. and I'm excited to get back into making videos and sharing my Mexican life with all of you. Thank you, and I'm sending each and every single one of you a big hug and a lot of love.
Immigration has remained one of the most contentious political topics in the United States for years, and depending on who you ask, deportation is either a necessary enforcement or an immigration law, or a deeply disruptive policy with lasting human consequences. And that's what makes this issue so politically explosive. For some Americans, enforcement represents border security, legal process, and national sovereignty. For others, the focus is on human impact, especially when families are separated or long-term residents are forced to leave. But beyond political talking points, what actually happens to individuals involved? That is where the personal stories become impossible to ignore. For many immigrants, deportation doesn't simply mean relocation. It means starting over from zero. Imagine returning to a country you haven't lived in for years, possibly decades. Your social network is gone, employment is uncertain, and housing not guaranteed. And in some cases, even the language barriers can become real challenges. Adding family separation, a spouse still in America, children in the US schools, bills, responsibilities, and an entire life continuing without you. This is why deportation debates generate such strong reactions. Supporters of strict enforcement argue that immigration systems depend on rules. Critics argue that rigid enforcement can ignore deeply human realities. And politically, both arguments continue to shape national elections, campaign messaging, and public opinions. So, no conversation about deportation exists in a vacuum. Immigration policy changes dramatically depending on who controls Washington. Different administrations have emphasized different priorities: border enforcement, processing reform, asylum policy, removal priorities, and legal immigration pathways. That means the lived experiences of immigrants can shift significantly depending on political leadership. And that is one of the reasons why the issue stays front and center in the political media. So, because immigration isn't just a legal issue, it is an economic issue, a security issue, a humanitarian issue, and an increasingly political identity issue. When voters hear deportation, they often interpret it through the broader worldview, which makes meaningful conversation incredibly difficult. But here is where the conversation gets even more complicated. What if someone spent most of their lives in America? Does time changes public perception? Does time change public perception? That question divides even people who generally agree on enforcement. So, where does that leave us? Deportation is more than political headline, and it is a real-world outcome affecting real people. For some, it represents legal accountability. For others, profound disruption. And depending on your perspective, both arguments may feel compelling. That is why immigration continues to dominate political conversations, because behind every policy debate, there are human consequences. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Should immigration enforcement prioritize consistency above all else? Or should individual circumstances play a bigger role? Let me know in the comments section below, and kindly remember to keep it respectful. And if you want more breakdowns like these, kindly subscribe to the channel and become a part of our family. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.